All right, so as promised, we got some news about console performance for Space Marine 2. You may remember these headlines right here, bracing for 30 frames per second on console for Space Marine 2. Well, that is not the case. I'm going to go over the official blog post here in just a moment, but there are still some worries and concerns that I am going to be talking about. Also, yes, some concerns about PvP as well. We'll also talk about some words from the dev team, some new stuff there. But yeah, let's get straight to the point here and go to the blog post. It says, what are the performances like on PC and on console? It says on PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X and S, is there a performance mode, quality mode, and what frames per second can we expect? And other specific details. So quality mode is available at 4K resolution at 30 frames per second. Now, performance mode is up to 60 frames per second at 1080p. More on that in just a moment. And it says, please note that on Xbox Series S, the quality mode will allow for 1440p at 30 frames per second, and the performance mode will not be available. So yeah, there's a sigh of relief there about the 60 frames per second performance mode, but it does have a little bit of an asterisk there. It does say up to, and we do have people out here celebrating the community here. It says totally cool with that. Honestly, all I just want to do is have fun with the game that runs properly. And this guy says, I assume you hell dive. Don't we all? Or at least we used to. Anyway, but yeah, some players couldn't help but note that it says up to 60 frames per second. And then we have a reply, 40 to 60 frames per second, and I'll be happy. That's how I am. I think I'll be pretty happy with that. But I would like a steady 60 frames per second, to be honest with you guys. But yeah, I think what would help with this situation is if they would just show gameplay of the PS5 or Xbox Series X running right now alongside this blog post. It's a bit strange that we do not have actual gameplay. So I am a little bit apprehensive, not gonna lie. We'll see how it pans out. But hey, they did confirm that yes, at the very least, we are going to be getting a performance mode. All right, so yeah, we got to dive a little bit further into this blog post because it goes on to say this, your remaining questions. Yeah, they clarify some stuff here. So it says about playing with teammates in all 3 different modes. Will my progression be saved when playing offline? It says be reassured, in campaign mode, your progression will be saved on PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series XS while playing offline. Now for operations mode, you will need to be online to ensure your progress in PvE is saved. Offline progression will not carry over to your next session, so make sure you're connected to keep all earned perks, skins, and other rewards. That right there does make a lot of sense. Now, we are going to be getting cross-platform saving, which is really nice, but how does that work? It says, does it work well? Yes, cross-platform saves are fully functional through the platform Prism Ray online services. Let's hope that this works good. They're saying it does. Now it says, is PvE, PvP playable via LAN? LAN play will not be supported. Will the game support crossplay and can it be toggled off? Yes, full crossplay between Steam, Epic Game Store, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series XS. Players will be supported from day one. And you know what? There's been some concerning headlines around crossplay and PvP. Check it out. So it says, contradictory Discord messages aside, Space Marine 2's crossplay finally has an answer some fans won't like. And I will get back to the blog post here in just a moment to confirm some things about this, but let's read on. It says, the confirmation of crossplay in Space Marine 2 is a great piece of information for those who like to team up with friends or family, regardless of the preferred gaming console or PC. However, for competitive players who prefer consoles over PCs, this information might seem like a concern as they will be fighting an uphill battle from the start. Oh, really? Now, the article says this, in most multiplayer games, it is somewhat expected that crossplay between PC and consoles tend to favor PC players more for several reasons, like performance, aim precision, and graphics, better FPS capability. Due to this, the news about crossplay has raised mixed reactions from the community, as some mostly console players are worried that it will hinder their experience. And of course, this is a legit concern. I do get it. But if we head back to the blog post, you can have a sigh of relief here. But I think some of you still might be concerned. Let me explain in just a moment. It says you will be able to play the campaign and PvE modes without any restrictions, but note that for fairness and balancing purposes, crossplay for the PvP mode Eternal War will be split between PC players in one pool, Steam and Epic Game Store, and console players in another one, PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X and S. Now, they do say this, you'll also have the option to disable crossplay functionality if you prefer to only play with those using the same platform as yours. So it seems like they did hear the noise around this and the concern around this, and they're making steps to make it fair, which makes a lot of sense. Let me know how you guys feel about this, or would you prefer to be able to play, of course, with your friends on PC in PvP mode, despite some of the concerns about it being unbalanced or unfair? Sound off in the comments down below, because I'm sure some of you are kind of bummed that, hey, I was planning on playing with my friend. When it comes to this game, I'm on console, they're on PC, and so on. So yeah, let me know if that's the case, because that's a whole other take with this. So yeah, sound off. Now, we also have this right here. Are there any restrictions for what classes can be played in Operations Mode PvE? And what about Eternal War PvP? It says your squad may only include one Space Marine of each class in Operations Mode. In Eternal War Mode, however, there is a limit of 2 players per class and per team. No all sniper teams, but you'll have plenty of strategic variety. Nice. I actually like that. Now it says, is there friendly fire when playing campaign, operations, or Eternal War modes? There is no friendly fire to worry about in this one, and I think that is for the better, of course. Unless they decide to do some weird, like, Helldivers 2 mode. Let me know if you guys would like to see that, where there is, like, some sort of friendly fire. I prefer no friendly fire. That's just how I feel about it. Now, it does say this. What kind of communication tools will we have in-game? There is a voice chat, a communication wheel with preset messages, and a text chat to facilitate your exchanges with your teammates. And does the game support the haptic features of the DualSense controller? They do say we support force triggers on the DualSense controller, but not haptic feedback at launch. So there might be plans to expand this, it seems. But what about ray tracing, DLSS, and more? So it says this: DLSS 2 and FSR 2 are available at launch, and then DLSS 3 and FSR 3 are planned for post-launch. Ray tracing and HDR not supported. So maybe some of you will actually be bummed about the DLSS 3, FSR 3 support not at launch. It sounds like that's kind of a bummer right there. And, you know, the game looks absolutely beautiful. Not too concerned about the ray tracing thing. Considering that there's so many enemies on screen, I think that would be very, very difficult to pull off. But, you know, I think it would be cool to eventually see that maybe down the road. They don't have any confirmation about that. But, hey, what's this? It says, is the game compatible with wide screens? Widescreen support is planned. Well, it won't be available right at launch. We're working on implementing it by the end of September. And will the game be playable on Steam Deck? We're working on official Steam Deck support, but it's not ready yet. We're currently targeting the end of the year for full Steam Deck support. And will the game have official mod support? We currently have no plans for official mod support. Yeah, you know, it is a multiplayer game. And they confirmed that, yeah, the easy anti-cheat system is going to be on PC, and then no DRM software. Will the game be available day one on GeForce Now? Yes. Will the game be available through Xbox Game Pass? That's a firm no right there. And can the HUD elements be removed? Is there a cinematic mode available? Though there is no actual cinematic mode available where all the UI elements can be turned off at once. All of them can be individually displayed or removed through the settings menu. Only the crosshair, enemy attacks, and mission objective pop-ups will be visible. Now, they do mention 3 options are available: on, off, or dynamic, with dynamic meaning that the UI elements you've chosen will appear when you need it the most, for example, during combat, and disappear otherwise. I love that. You know, I remember Horizon Zero Dawn was really one of those games that embraced it. So it's good to see that you will have like a clear HUD when roaming around, perhaps in story moments or something like that. That is very, very cool. Now, what about preload? So we have this right here. It says, will I be able to preload the game? And if so, when will preload be available? Your ability to preload Space Marine 2 depends on your platform of choice. So on Xbox Series X and S, preloading is already available. You will download the full game as soon as you pre-order either of the game's versions. The game will unlock on September 5th or September 9th, depending on whether you purchase the standard gold or ultra edition. Now, on PlayStation 5, preloading will be available on September 3rd at 11 a.m. UTC if you have pre-ordered the gold or ultra edition, to allow you to play up to 4 days before the official release. Now, if you have pre-ordered the standard edition, preloading will start on September 7th at 4 p.m. UTC, and the game will unlock on September 9th, the day of release. Now, for PC, preloading will not be available. Damn. That is really a bummer to hear that PC players are just out in the cold right there. Oh well. And hey, this is pretty important. We have mark your calendars, early unlock for PC. As you can see, you could pause the screen right here. And then they also have early unlocks for console. And you can pause the screen for those release times. So yeah, this is going to be a huge release, I have to say. Now, they did also mention things like, hey, do you have to play Space Marine 1 to enjoy this one. They said no, not in particular, although I would imagine that would build the lore and, you know, the presence of the characters in this one for sure. So that is recommended, but not required whatsoever. All right, so guess what? It's time to go over your top comments. Leave a comment down below. It could end up here in a future video. So let's do this. We have Gravis Phobos. Tactus armor is not interchangeable. So as someone who understands the lore, it makes complete sense that you can't put Gravis armor pieces onto your Assault Marine who's wearing Tactus armor. Yeah, you know, seems like a lot of you guys aren't bothered by how they're handling the release of customization in this game. It's just you're going to have to be mindful of that. I think some newcomers to the franchise will be a little bit bummed about that, but if you understand Space Marine lore, Warhammer lore specifically, with how armor works, and yeah, I think you're going to be good to go. We also have this. For me personally, there are not a lot of things to worry about. It is already breaking modern trends by making anything not cosmetic based completely free and obtainable whenever the update drops. All the concerns should mainly be focused on the game's performance and optimization, which has been brought up in previews. Focus is doing something games haven't done in forever and brought back old school style of marketing a game and having the game be as simple as it can be, have most, if not all, of the content be easily accessible and not pay to win, as well as giving us so many promises in terms of new content and plenty of co-op replayability. If you're a huge 40K fan like me, of course you're going to have too many biases to be completely objective, but I legit can't think of another time I've been this excited for a game and not had more than a handful of worries. Game will be an 8 out of 10 at least. Can't wait. Yeah, you know what, that's my assessment right there. I'm not too worried about this one at all. The first one was well received and handled very nicely, so I expect the same thing here. I am super hyped, by the way, about this cooperative mode. I'm thinking that this might be very well received and bigger than some people expect. Maybe we'll see. I don't want to overhype it, of course, but it looks really, really good. But yeah, there it is. The latest happenings around Space Marine 2. Stay tuned for more updates. I have you guys covered on this one, and I will see you all next time. Take care.